Do you have a family member who lives in the US? Cool! Would you like to meet them? If yes, then you need a US family visa. Family preference or F visas are immigration visas that allow family members to be reunited in the United States. Although visa holders enjoy benefits such as working and studying in the United States, most eligible people who have received the necessary approvals have to wait for years to obtain their visas. Hi, this is Max from the Visa Library. In this video, I will concentrate on the US F2 visa, the application process for this visa, its requirements, processing time, interview questions, and other details. But let's do the YouTube stuff first. If you haven't, now it's a good time to subscribe to our channel and support us. If you do it, I will give you a free cheat sheet at the end. Now, let's get into it. What is a US F2B visa? This visa is for adult children of US green card holders. Okay, who is an adult child? An adult child is a person over the age of 21 who is also single. Holders of this visa have many benefits. For example, it allows the adult child to live, study, and work in the US permanently and legally. What are the basic requirements for an F2B visa? Let's see. First, let's talk about the applicants. One of the parents should be a US lawful permanent resident. On the other hand, the applicant or child must prove their relationship with them by presenting a birth certificate or adoption documents. In addition, the child must be over 21 years old and not married. Now, over to the parents or sponsors. They must be US lawful permanent residents and they must live in the US and have a valid address. The most important part is being able to prove the relationship between the applicant and the green card holder residing in the US. As I said, you can do it through a birth or adoption certificate. It must be valid and issued by the government of the country the applicant lives in. How to apply for a US F2B visa? The F2B visa application process has two general steps. Parents must first file a petition to the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. If the petition is approved, the child can go to the US Embassy in their home country to continue the visa application process. Let's look at the first part. Filling and filing a petition to the USCIS. The US lawful permanent residents first submits the form I-130 to the USCIS. The Department of Homeland Security then reviews the case. Finally, USCIS announces the result to the parents. If approved, the case will be handed over to the National Visa Center or NVC. From now on, the organization will review and process the visa application. NVC first sends a package to the F2B visa applicant in their home country. This package includes instructions about the next steps, the case number, and invoice ID number. Now, the second part, applying for an F2B visa. Once you, as the child, receive Nvc package, you can do the rest of the application according to the instructions. Step 1. Completion and submission of Form DS-260. You must complete the Form DS-260 as an immigrant visa applicant. You need the case number issued by NVC to access the form. After completing the form, a confirmation page will appear that you need to save because you will need it in the next step. The link for the form is in our website. I will put the link of our article in the description. Step 2. Perform medical examination and vaccination. You must be examined and checked by a licensed physician before entering the United States. Vaccination may also be necessary. You never know. The NVC instructions have a list of those checkups. After the tests, doctors sign and give you some documents and forms. You have to provide those documents to NVC in the next step. Step 3. Provide documents to NVC. To prove your eligibility, you must provide some documents to NVC. Number 1. A passport. Your passport must be valid for at least 6 months from the date of arrival in the United States. Number 2. A signed Form I-864 signed by your parents as your petitioners. Number 3. Form DS-260 confirmation page. Number 4. Your birth certificate or documents related to the adoption. Number 5. Documents related to the medical examination. Number 6. Clinical records. Number 7. If you have served in the military, you can provide your military records. Number 8. 2 photos. Number 9. If you have been married before, you must prove that your marriage is over through a divorce or a death certificate. One thing, your documents must be in English. If not, have them translated by a verified or accredited translator. Just remember that the US officials won't accept documents in your native language. Really important. Step 4. Attend an interview. If your documents are complete, NVC will schedule an interview at the embassy. You should also attend the interview and answer some questions. Based on the answers you provide, the visa officer will decide whether to grant you a visa or not. Step 5. Get another NVC package and travel to the US. If the visa application is approved, the embassy will give you another NVC package. The information in this package will help immigration officers to make a final decision about entering the United States. Please be careful. You are never allowed to open this package, and you must give it to immigration officers upon arrival in the United States. Now, about the interview questions. As I mentioned, you must answer some questions related to your background, your relationship with the petitioner, or one of the parents, and the purpose of your immigration to the United States, etc. The good news is that we have a list of possible questions on our website. Link in the description. One question: how much does this visa cost? During the visa application process, the applicant and the petitioner must pay different fees. Sorry, but I can't give you an exact amount because you have to pay a fee for different services and steps, and the costs vary and determined by the USCIS. Again, sorry. One question: how long does it take to apply for an F2B visa? Unfortunately, the annual issuance of F visas, including the F2B, is limited. This way, your petition may be approved, but you will have to wait for your priority date to become current. Some people may even wait for years to get their visas. So the processing time for an F2B visa is a bit long. Next one, F2B visa processing time. You cannot define a particular processing time for a US F2B visa. Since there is an annual quota issuance, some applicants might have to wait for 2 years to receive the visa or get a decision on their application. You would better apply when the date is available and work on your application to receive the desired results as soon as possible. Now, let me answer some common questions for you. What if the child gets married? F2B visa is for unmarried children. If the child gets married before the petition to the USCIS is accepted, they will lose their eligibility. So, if the child has marriage intentions, they would better wait until the USCIS decides on the application. Next question. What can you do if the application is rejected? If an application is rejected, the US authorities explain the reasons for rejection. So the applicant can work on his or her conditions and approve them. They need to work to remove the obstacles. They can petition again and try with an improved case. This time, they will have a better chance of success. As I explained, there is an annual limit to the F2B visa issuance. What if the annual cap is reached? Let's see. If the annual cap is reached, but your documents are complete and the USCIS has accepted your application, you can wait until the next year and continue the application process. You need to follow the news and know when is the time to apply again. You would better begin the procedure as soon as possible, as it could take longer. When the opportunity is available, the applicant must fill the online form DS-260. Another question: what if the sponsor becomes a US citizen before application approval? In this situation, the application applies for an immediate relative application because the processing time is much faster. Well, there you go. Now you can go and start your application. If you're confused with the steps, don't worry. Subscribe to our channel, go to the link in the description, go to our website and download the free cheat sheet I have prepared for you. Thank you all for watching.